Welcome back, well, yes, as you've seen there, we've got His Excellency Bello, Governor of Kogi State, joining us next. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, first of all, commiserations on the loss of your commissioner, but could you tell us, what is the latest scenario regarding that matter today?
Thank you very much. Good morning, Chamberlain, and all of your other crew members. And good morning to Nigerians and viewers across the world. It's most unfortunate what happened, to my commissioner, one of my commissioners of Pension Commission. Well, it's most unfortunate that that incident happened. We've always given some security tips and advice to my commissioners, government officials, and the citizens of Kogi State regarding what to do in terms of security, and sometimes they flout it, and hence what happened. The latest of what is most unfortunate, and I commiserate with the family and the good people of Kogi State and his loved ones. The latest of it all is that the law enforcement agencies are trying their best to ensure that the perpetrators, are brought to justice. And also that the Honorable Commissioner, the chairman of the Yagba West local government, who was abducted, is rescued unharmed. The challenge we are facing now is that the crime was committed, across border, that is in the other territory. And then our security agencies, collaborating with other security agencies from the neighboring state where the incident happened, are trying, their best to ensure that the captive is rescued, unharmed. And then we'll have to rescue the chairman first before we now go on hunting for the criminals. That is the latest for now.
Has there been any demand whatsoever?
To the best of my knowledge, the law enforcement agencies are doing their best to make sure that they rescue the captive. Right now, I am not aware of any demand, from the captive. From the abductors.
Okay, well, we'll still come to that because, there are reports that some of those bandits have made demands of the government, knowing who the person is. And so is it that no word whatsoever from any quarters to you or to the police about any of such demands, as is being reported?
Well, I think we have to be a bit careful about this issue of abduction, demands, paying ransom. Everybody knows my position when it comes to the issue of abduction. Remember, I was once a victim. My mother of blessed memory was once kidnapped from her home, and she spent 93 days in captivity. And I've always warned anybody and everybody that are close to me or who cares to understand that you make yourself vulnerable to the kidnappers. You may have to spend up to 93 days before I will look your way. However, in Kogi State here today, we don't negotiate with abductors. We don't negotiate with bandits. We don't negotiate with kidnappers. And I want to assure you that we are going to rescue the chairman of Yagba West local government unharmed and without paying a dime.
Well, how is the PDP, how is your party, or what do you think about the recommendations of the PDP concerning the rising insecurity in the country?
My party is the All Progressives Congress, APC, the ruling party, not PDP. Well, PDP may have their own idea of what is happening in the country today, but I must let you know that what is happening today in the country, like never before, is majorly political. Majorly political. But it is just unfortunate that after playing this politics, we will have a country that we call our own. Our politics should not transcend to the issue of insecurity that we're facing in this country today. Insecurity is insecurity. Criminality is criminality. Let's treat it as such and take politics out of it.
Well, from the word that we hear from the PDP, it's like, you know, the party is calling for all hands to be on deck, more like saying, let's all work together because we need to be Nigerians first before we are members of any political party. So how is that playing politics?
I sincerely appreciate that. But, you know, most times when you call PDP, you call APC, you know, that is politics already in play. But we call on Nigerians, that is Nigerians. We're faced with insecurity at hand. Let's all Nigerians come on board and let's find solution to this problem. But let's rule out or take out issue of political affiliation, religious sentiment, and ethnicity out of this insecurity that we're facing, you know, today.
So when you say it's political, is it that when another member of another political party comes up with any suggestion, if it's not coming from the APC, then it is political?
Not just when it comes from an opposition political party. Let me tell you that even from within APC, there are oppositions. Let me tell you the fact. Everybody knows me to say the truth. Even from within APC, there are elements who would not want this country to live in peace simply because of quest for power. And I think we should rise above that. All I will simply tell Nigerians is to open their eyes. Like I always say, please shine your eye. 2023 is by the corner. And a lot of elements are up there trying to cause disaffection within the society. For instance, what is happening in Kogi, what happened, you know, recently, you know, across border from my neighboring state, where Commissioner of Pension Commission was killed and then my chairman was abducted. We are gathering our facts and intelligence, where such, plans were hatched to destabilize or bring insecurity to the most secured state in this country, in order to discredit our modest achievement in terms of security. And I think it transcends the issue of political party, whether opposition or within APC. So that is why I said, let's take politics out of it. Let's take political affiliation out of it. Those that are perpetrating crimes and criminality will face justice. We are gathering our facts, we are gathering our intelligence, and nobody tries us here in Kogi State and goes scot-free under my watch. We are going to crush the criminals. We will go after their planners or those who orchestrate this act. And those that are fanning or fueling it in the media, either by deliberate act or whatever. And by the grace of God, Nigerians are going to see action very soon from us here.
Was Senator Smart Adeyemi being political on the floor of the House with his concerns which he raised?
Senator Smart is a citizen of Nigeria. He's a concerned citizen, and he's free to express his own wish. His opinion on the floor of the Senate, and he's entitled to his own opinion as well.
So, does that mean you consider that political?
Senator Smart, if everybody, those that knows Senator Smart know that Senator Smart speaks frankly from his heart. He doesn't play politics with insecurity. So it depends on everyone's level of tolerance or absorption or maybe emotion. One can express it loudly more in some fora, some can express it mildly. I think the issue of insecurity touched Senator Smart, and he has come out to express it the way he knows best. So I will rule out politics out of it.
But the same views he expressed is the same views that other members of other political parties are expressing. So it's a difference because he's in the APC and others are not in the APC.
That is why I said, let's rule out politics. Senator Smart is of the APC, and he has expressed his own opinion, his mind, frankly, devoid of political affiliation. So let's leave politics completely out of issue of insecurity as expressed by Nigerians.
All right, Your Excellency. We'll be back in just a moment. Please stay with us.
When people who are working with you believe that you can't be manipulated, they capitalize on that. Right? They capitalize on that. Hey, if they know, then look, be careful. He gets information everywhere. They will sit down and sit up and say, look, let's not do this. It is important not to say I'm committed. It's important for you to be committed, to be seen to be committed. I was surprised when I was watching the television, when the House of Reps invited the Chief of Army Staff about the purchase of weapons. And he said, look, you know the right people to ask. And you remember there was a time $1 billion was taken from the Access Code account to provide for security. And it tells me, if I should release that money as the chief executive, the chief security officer, knowing how Nigeria is, I will make sure that those weapons were bought. And the right ones were bought. You have to take leadership. I couldn't have released $1 billion. And then nobody can show me those equipment. Even if those who are at the health affairs of security, they have left, the onus is on you. You can still summon them back. Where are the equipments that we bought?
Thanks for staying with us. Your Excellency, you know, so many people on all sides of the divide have continued to point to a core issue as reason for the exacerbating insecurity. For instance, we have had people who have said over and over again that these bandits, even Boko Haram, the insurgents, were recruited and baited with money. Just last week, we heard a report from a local government that people were being baited with 20,000 naira each to come and join the insurgents. Now, this is speaking to just one thing, that a number of people have said, and you may agree as well, that insecurity is a major catalyst. Beg your pardon, unemployment is a major catalyst to this insecurity. Where do you stand on that? And for God's sake, how is governments, whether at the federal level or at the state level, addressing this?
Thank you very much. Let me address this particular question or statement holistically. And please, let's take out politics, party, or anything out of this. Yes, so many people have been alluding to all of this. But let me tell Nigerians that we're confronted with problems. When a problem arises, we look at the genesis of the problem, if we really want to solve that problem. Let's look into the genesis of Boko Haram and tackle it from there. Those that have hands in Boko Haram, that is number one. Number two, bandits and all other crimes, unemployment, and what should be done. Because that is what we should be looking forward to. Yes, first of all, what should be done is to ensure that we have sincere leadership at all levels. Sincere leadership, sincere leaders. Today, a lot of puzzles that are ongoing today, and not by Nigerians, but by leaders that we have in this country. Leadership at all levels, when I say leadership at all levels, not just at federal government, state government, or those in authorities today, but those of us that are even our private offices, that our families look up to, we are in leadership position. The imams, the traditional rulers, and everybody we should come up and be sincere with Nigerians. We're talking of unemployment. Let me take Kogi State, for instance. We have, as much as possible, engaged youths and women in governance today. Let me not go into achievement or what I've been able to achieve. They are there in records for anybody who wants to know the reality to come and verify and have it. Let me still remain in Kogi State here. We have a steel complex called Ajakuta. We know how much of these youths and able-bodied men and women will be recruited and taken off the streets. We have the inland ports that were started during President Yar'Adua, whereby the River Niger should have been dredged up to Lokoja here, up to Baru, and across to the other eastern flank. What happened to them? Where are the monies budgeted? Where are the monies that were voted for them? Ajakuta is still there. Mr. President have to even travel to Russia to ensure that Ajakuta is functional. Committees were set up. What is happening? We have the issue of our internal roads, whereby just 2 trillion was supposed to be used to ensure that we have super highways across this country, especially the commercial viable ones. The report is still gathering dust today. We have several of such infrastructures lying down. Mr. President came up with the issue of a hydro dam in Mambila, where by now we are expecting that the project should have gone far. And we have a Jakuta here that should have rolled out the iron rods that are required. We have the cement here in Kogi State and across the country that should have been used. What is happening to that? We have the issue of our power that should have been fixed. A lot of funds were swindled in the past. Up to now, nobody is talking about that. You see, my dear brother, when we want to talk about taking these youths off the street, reduce the criminality, banditry, and all forms of crimes, let's take it from leadership, from the current one, from the previous up to the current. Mr. President have come and he has done his best, came up with laudable programs and projects that should have been followed through. Those that are responsible or charged with that trust, how far have they discharged their responsibilities today? You know, so if we're talking of insecurity today, there are several, causes of it. Let's take them from the grassroots or from where they all started from. Let's fix Ajakuta. Let's dredge River Niger. Let's ensure that that particular report of Governor El-Rufai committee is acted upon. Let's engage Nigerian youths. And then I want to believe. And above all, my dear brother, I want to believe that Mr. President is listening. We all know that Mr. President loves Nigeria and loves Nigerian youths a lot. Our leaders have misled us before today. Mr. President have decided to ensure that youths come on board, and hence signing the Not Too Young to Run bill, and even ensuring that younger generations are given positions of authorities. You see the EFCC boss right now. It is time that we allow the younger generation to take charge and fix this country. If our leaders, our elders and seniors have failed us, we, the younger generation, should not fail ourselves. Let our attention not be diverted on issue of insecurity and some other mundane issues. We should call ourselves together as Nigerians, energetic, forcefully, and let's fix this country. The opportunity is presenting itself. It's just a matter of days, weeks, and months away. I believe we should be able to get this country fixed.
Well, at the moment, the unemployment rates, I mean, if you look at the figures from Q4 of 2020, it was 33.3%. Inflation rate, the highest in recent history, 17%. Poverty rate, 42.5%, the highest in recent history. 105 million Nigerians said to be poor in 2020. That's according to the World Poverty Clock. 6 years into this administration, these are the figures that we are confronted with. So are you suggesting, because you said we need sincerity at all levels of government, does that suggest that there are elements within the party who are not sincere, and as a result of that, things are going south, hence these kind of figures will be posted?
All the figures that have been posted are as a result of the negative effect of maladministration before now, and they are all effects of insincerity as we have it today, and insincerity cut across board, not just within a political party, not just at federal government level, not just at state level or local government level, insincerity across board, especially from the point of our leadership and our elites.
Is that also suggesting that governors are not being sincere? Because the figures that Chamberlain just quoted is an aggregate of what's happening across all states of the Federation, be it the unemployment figures, the poverty figures, and the rest of them. Is that suggesting that governors are not being sincere?
Governors are doing their best to ensure that they deliver governance, good governance, in their various states. I think let every citizen hold their government accountable.
So then who is being insincere? Because on the one hand, you said that the president is doing his best. The governors, from what you have said now, they're doing their best. And yet these figures are there. And the buck stops at these 37 tables.
I have just ruled out some of the projects that are abandoned or that are stagnated to you today. Who are those responsible? Is it Mr. President that is going to dredge all the rivers, or the governors? Is it the president or that is coming to, when he has gone to Russia, came back and put up a committee together to work and then do something regarding the Ajakuta Steel Complex? Will you put the blame on Mr. President or I as the governor of Kogi State? Will you put the blame of not dredging the river Niger on Mr. President when there are ministries and parastatals that should handle this particular all-important project? I think these are the things we should look at. Instead of blaming, blaming Mr. President for what he has not done and what have you, and even on what he has done and come out sincerely to hire people he believes could do the job, and the jobs are not done. I think we should know where to put the blames and then how to quickly, call a spade and ensure that things are done properly.
So, if you want us to put the blame for the non-execution or carrying on with the programs and plans to get Ajakuta work, which is under the Ministry of Mines and Steel, I believe, so you're indicting the minister in this regard, and then that of transport, you talked about several other things, but the president was elected. These other officials are appointed. The buck stops at his table. So if those who he appointed are not performing, how then do we shift the buck to those who are appointed and not to the person who was elected? Would you do that as a governor, blame commissioners for what you were elected to perform?
If I hire a commissioner and he's not doing what he's supposed to do, I will fire him. Please just permit me to stop at this point.
But at the moment, in other words, the president should have done the same thing.
When I become the president, I'll know what to do. By the grace of God.
You just gave an example of what should have been done. The right thing should have been done, I believe. So there's no gainsaying that that should be the right thing. In other words, that is what he should have done. That's what you're suggesting.
I am not Mr. President's chief of staff. I am not Mr. President's advisor. I'm a governor. I am elected to govern Kogi State. And I will tell you what I will do or what I will do as a governor. And when I become president, what I will do by the grace of God.
All right, Mark has got some questions as well. Mark.
You know, interestingly, Kogi State doesn't exist in a vacuum. I mean, it exists in Nigeria as an entity, and whatever happens at the national level, even if Kogi State, was top-notch in all of the statistics, and it is not, when it comes to the national aggregate, if all the other states or the federal government isn't doing well, Kogi states will definitely be dragged down, and it will not shine as it ought to, you know, when it comes to collating the national average. But let's put that aside now. You've said that young people should not be distracted about the insecurity situation in the country. They should, you know, look away and get together and, you know, plan their future. The question is, who isn't distracted about the current security situation? Those who know have said the problem that we face is an existential problem, is a problem that threatens not just the unity of Nigeria, but Nigeria as a sovereign state. Have we been able to wake up to the urgency and the emergency that faces us as a country?
First of all, Kogi State have performed creditably well in all of the indices that has been rolled out just now. And we're not rating ourselves. Both national and international rating bodies have rated us. And within the limits of our resources and opportunities and the various challenges that were faced, I think we have done well in that aspect. Now, yes, very well, all the problems that are facing us today, insecurity and several others, are problems that affected our existence. What I will simply urge each and every one of us, including you, Malfoy, is that, yes, it didn't just start today. It has been existing. We shouldn't dwell much and listen much to those who have brought us to where we are today. We should look into everyone's record, those who will speak and who will act. And we as the younger generation who have the future, currently and the future, should be able to put ourselves together and take this country and fix it. If we continue to dwell and we allow those that have brought us to where we are today to continue to distract us, then we will not, we'll set our eyes will be off the ball. Let's refuse to be distracted, put our eyes on the ball and get it right in a few months to come. That is where that's my position.
You know, young people would really love to do that. I mean, and where they have done that, they have thrived. If you take a look at, say, the entertainment sector, where they have taken matters into their own hands and there have been no restrictions, we can see what is happening in the entertainment sector. However, it would seem that in some other sectors, hard as they might try, you know, they're affected. There is no way that you can just go on as if the security situation in the country does not exist. For those young people who are trying to get an education, who have been kidnapped in the many schools that, you know, have been affected by kidnappings from Zamfara to Niger to Katsina to Borno, they cannot just go on with their lives. Those who have now been killed sadly, they cannot go on with their lives. So these issues are there. And then when you look at the protest that was put up by young people late last year, the End SARS movement, protesting police brutality, especially for those who are trying to get on in the ICT sector. Yes, there are people who are doing fraud, but not everybody, as we have been rightly told, not everybody who is carrying a backpack or you know, carrying a laptop is into fraud. There are those who are actually making this country soar in ICT. The question is, what changes have we put in place when young people have complained? Have people who should really be at the helm of affairs and take charge of the complaint, have they really done as they ought to by these young people when they try to make a way for themselves, regardless of what you call distractions?
Thank you very much. You have, laid the question and even provided the answer in a way. It's unfortunate that all of these incidents happen in the various states where, kidnappings and all forms of crimes are committed against humanity, especially against the younger generations and the future generations. Now, the opportunity, the chance for us to take control just like opportunities were provided, in one way or the other in the entertainment industry, in creative industry, and what have you, the opportunity has presented itself again by Mr. President signing the Not Too Young to Run bill. The opportunity has presented itself again by my political party calling on younger generations and women to register and take their destinies in their hands. The opportunity is presenting itself again in this very near future to come up with younger, vibrant, agile, resourceful, and useful leaders in order that we can take charge of our lives and fix this country. Anything fall short of that, we will spell doom for ourselves. I want to believe that Nigerians, and especially the younger generation that are listening to me now, we should not allow what some of our leaders that are beating drums for war and crisis, left, right, center, we should not allow it to get into our ears. Whether you are Igbo, you are Hausa, you are Yoruba, you are every other ethnic nationality, we should look inward and really think deep. Where we are today, we didn't impose this on ourselves. Some leaders in this country, some elders in this country brought us to where we are today. There are objective ones. There are those who are really up to ensure that they assist us. We must be able to fast now. We must be able to hold our tummy, strive, and hold on and ensure that we bring ourselves on board. We shouldn't be distracted once again by ethnic sentiment, by religious sentiment, by sectional sentiment that has divided us all along to come on board once again this time around. We must be able to say we are Nigerians. If all of these ethnic champions are, speaking for themselves, who will speak for Nigeria? Let the youth and women speak for Nigeria. And I am urging all of you, including Chamberlain, including Maokwe, including all of you, Okikiolu, all of you, who really want this country great, to please come on board. Support the younger generation. Support the objective Nigerians to ensure that we end this game that has been played, since 1960 up to this moment. Let's end this game because it has not yielded anything. We must be able to come on board now and fix this country by bringing people that are sincere, energetic, and ready to fix the country. And let's take our destinies in our hands.
Well, at least the little I know of my colleagues, I think they can do anything to ensure that young people just get their right to a place and get the best of performance. For any young, sincere person out there, they will always do that. But we'll be back in just a moment. Just a couple of more questions. Don't go away.
For the set of this committee to begin to look into ways on how to address and tackle the situation where we find ourselves. And it is in the context of these prevailing realities that the House of Representatives has appointed this special committee to undertake a comprehensive study of the issues and challenges of our national security from the perspective of the legislature. And at the end of it, recommend innovative, practical solutions that can help to relieve us of our present national security and challenges. There is therefore a clear and urgent need to take all necessary actions across the different arms and levels of government to articulate solutions to ensure an effective response to the challenges we face. In doing this, we must recognize the need to proceed with caution and wisdom so that as we respond to existing problems, we do not further compound them or create new difficulties.
Welcome back. Well, Your Excellency, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not happy with the way things are turning out or playing out at the moment in the country, but incidentally, your party happened to have been steering the ship of state for 6 years on running now. But there's this comment coming through from, I believe, is a resident of your state. He says there's daily kidnapping between Kaba and Ogaminana Junction by herdsmen, particularly Okedayo Link Point in Kogi. Why are you not saying or doing anything about it?
I will first of all reiterate that Kogi State is still the safest state in Nigeria today. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that there are no pockets of issues that we are grappling with. And like I always say, they will come in their numbers, but they will never return back, especially the criminals. Yes, there are some notorious, spots in the state. The area he, just painted now, I think he tried to just over-exaggerate. Not on daily basis. I think the media should have carried it. The law enforcement agencies are there, the security agencies are there to have reported that. So I think sometimes we citizens, we tend to overhype certain things. I don't know what we tend to gain out of it. Yes, there are pockets of issues from, here and there. And then at any point in time it happened, we tackle it. I'll give you an example. One of our party officials, father was kidnapped, about 5 days ago. In less than 48 hours, we recovered the old man, and all of those that were involved in this the dastard act, were brought to justice. Now, if you're talking of my party being in charge, since for the past 6 years, yes, APC has been in charge of Nigeria, or the government. We have recorded huge successes in various other areas, even including this insecurity. Daily bombings are no longer happening. And when you talk of this banditry and kidnapping, or some of these skirmishes, predates even the formation of APC. So APC, inherited the challenge, and we're doing our best to ensure that the challenge, are reduced to the barest minimum. So we shouldn't just limit it to APC, and that's why I continue to say that, look, the challenges that have faced this country today, we should take it off partisan politics or political parties, and let's put our hands on deck to solve this problem. APC's successes today, within 6 years, outnumber or outweighs the performance or successes of PDP for 16 years that they ruled. The statistics are there. If the Honorable Minister of Information is not saying it, I want to believe that very soon we will articulate all of this and remind Nigerians of where APC inherited Nigeria and where we are today. So we shouldn't ascribe it to issue of political party. Of course, within our party there are those that are not, are not pulling their weight the way it should be. So it is, in all other political parties, or even when PDP were in power. But largely, APC have performed beyond what PDP, achieved in their 16 years of governance in Nigeria.
Well, you started out with saying let's not be political about it, but here you are being political about the security situation in the country. So how then you're not taking your own advice?
I am not being political, John Bello. I have said it that, look, let's set aside issue of politics.
Yeah, but we just read out the figures. The figures are at a record high. The unemployment figures, the inflation rate, the poverty rate. These are record highs at this time.
See, John Bello, let's even subject those numbers, these figures. Let's subject them to scrutiny. How are we? I mean, how credible are some of these figures? We should be able to
from
look
the
into
World Poverty Clock and the National Bureau of Statistics.
How many of us were contacted? What are the parameters that they use? What are the criteria that they use in even coming up with some of these figures? See, Chamberlain, let me tell you, 2023 is by the corner. Let me tell you the reality. Let me come out very, very, very practical. 2023 is by the corner. Some people are engineering some of these numbers in order to discredit the government of the day. For whatever reason, I don't know.
So do you have an alternative figures?
There are some
alternative figures
that were reported of even Kogi State. There are some numbers that were reported of even of Kogi State that I have in front of me that were completely at variance with what was being published by one of these rating bodies within the country. And let me tell you that what we are facing today, the challenges we are facing today, is not even just local alone.
Okay, we need to wind down, but does that suggest, are you suggesting that the figures from the World Poverty Clock about Nigeria are not correct?
Who are those that came to do the study? And where did they visit? Did they visit every household?
So the figures for you are not correct?
I will query it.
All right, Your Excellency, Yahya Bello, Governor of Kogi State, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.